Go ahead. We don't have a lot of time today for everything we're going to go through. We're going to have to jam pack it in there. So, first of all, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Tamar Yaniv. I am the CMO at Intellivy. And I actually, most of my background is in tech startup companies, where I also had the pleasure of working for an AI company before it was cool. So back in 2018, I was the head of marketing for a company called Skyline AI that was helping real estate investors find investments using artificial intelligence. It was pretty wild and pretty cool. So I do have some insights on how AI works, as limited as it might be as a CMO, right? I'm not like a developer, but definitely been in that world. And then I worked for a company called Boosted Commerce, which is a big e-commerce portfolio company, and really dove into the world of Amazon and optimization and everything there. And I've been with Intellivy now for over a year. So happy to help everyone dive into the world of market research.
Amazing. And I am Liran Hirschkorn. I am the CEO and founder of Incrementum Digital. We help brands scale their businesses on Amazon, on Walmart, and I've been in the Amazon space. This is going into my 11th year, so feels like my entire life, but it's not. But have been in various marketing things online for now about 15, 16 years. And excited to talk about AI and like what's happening with AI and Amazon and how things are maybe going to evolve as time goes. And as we're talking, I see somebody's AI assistant in the Zoom chat.
AI is in the room with us right
Yes.
now, helping us be more efficient. So welcome.
Exactly. Let's dive into it. Um, and I'm sure people have questions and are curious about how Rufus, by the way, do you know why it's named Rufus? Great question for everybody here. It's named Rufus because, Amazon is known, right? Like if you go to, if unfortunately you get one of those dog pages, hopefully not on your listing, but you get one of the dog pages, right? It's like a non-existent page. Amazon has been known to letting dogs into their offices, right, for a long time. And there was one of the early sort of dogs that was walking around the Amazon yeah, named after a beloved Welsh corgi who roamed the company's early offices and
Okay,
played a role in shaping Amazon's dog-friendly culture. That sounds like an answer from AI,
it
by the way.
does. Okay, so Tom just like let us know on the back end all the details. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate
Yes, exactly. So that's exactly it. One of the original dogs of Amazon. That's why it's called Rufus. But obviously now Rufus is becoming more important as Amazon, I saw in Amazon's most recent earnings report. I think they're investing like $100 billion into more than Meta, more than Google into AI. A lot of it into, different tools within AWS, but sure that Amazon is spending a lot of money and time working on improving AI. And one of my, hypothesis is that the future of search is where you and I search for something and have very different results based on our, Amazon knowing our behavior, our shopping habits, how now brands can use advertising and Amazon Marketing Cloud audiences to increase bids for specific lookalike audiences or different things they want to target. And so I think the search results are going to change where they're different for you and me, and especially by using AI, where it becomes more of a conversational chat with like an AI shopping assistant, you're going to end up getting results because instead of just typing in a keyword, you're able to say, show me the top five brands in TVs 60 to 70 inches with 4.5 stars and like this feature or something, right? OLED or something. And you're now going to get a more, I think, narrowed results, including like an ad there. And it's going to be more tailored to you. So the key is making sure that we are able to answer these these questions that customers have within our within our listings. And it's not that previously we didn't maybe answer these questions, but now because of Rufus, you actually have more insights into what customers are asking by going into competitors, by looking at your own listing and seeing what those questions are that Rufus is kind of prompting, and doing part of your competitor research that way to make sure that you have those answers in your questions. And part of what we want to do today is show you how we looked at a couple different listings and show you like where, you know, Rufus is getting in this information and showing you sort of one, both probably, great products, but showing you where one listing has an advantage over the other by having those questions answered and where one does not, and what may be lacking, and then combined with getting insights from real customers shopping using Intellivy, how we're able to kind of make what we hopefully think are positive changes to the listings in order to make improvements that will, grow the sales of the listing. There's no doubt in my mind that if we make, if one of these brand owners is watching, or we'll get to this webinar that we're doing on their listing, they would see it, and if they made those changes, I think they would see an increase in their, in their sales.
I think also, so from my perspective, that is mostly on the technology side before I got into e-commerce, I'm kind of hyper obsessed with what AI isn't doing well. Because it's so easy to be in the shock and awe of the way it empowers you. And I think a shopping assistant is probably the most powerful application of AI right now in the ecosystem. It is this black box that feels like a mystery and feels so empowering, but it's AI is only as good as the data that it's being fed, the
Right.
hygiene, the models, et cetera. It can only learn with good data. So even as we dig into the power of using Rufus, it's so important to ensure and to take the time to go through the data that's being fed into Rufus and to look for where those black holes of data are, what you might be missing, and to not overly rely on it. As we rely on it, as it creates efficiencies, we need to also not atrophy in the way that we approach our business, but use that to empower us and to still have a hyper focus on the things that we might be missing or that we need to fine tune even further. So when Liran and I had this call, which I think it's hysterical now, understanding the products that we chose and why Rufus has its name, it's like pretty poetic. Um,
Right.
it was really important as we were digging through, we kind of started to sharpen each other and be like, wait a second, but what about this? But maybe we're missing this, but what about that? And the SOPs that we created for this webinar are really two people just trying to sharpen each other and use the best tools available and the best processes that we have found to ensure that we get the best results. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and dive right into the SOP because that's why you're here. And just to let you know, we're going to run through that at the end. For everyone who will stick with us on this webinar, you are going to get a 40% off coupon for Intellivy, which is pretty good, as well as a PDF from Incrementum Digital that will help you with this SOP. And everyone, whether you were able to join live or not, you will be getting a recording of this SOP. So if you have to pause, if you want to go back, and hold your questions till the end if you don't mind. You can go ahead and ask them now, but we'll answer things at the end of the webinar just to make sure we get through everything in a timely manner.
Yeah, and actually, what I want to do, Tamar, is I want to actually go into kind of showing, and then after we'll send the SOP to everyone. But I want to go into the
Yeah.
listings,
Yeah.
um, and and basically show two different products that we sort of randomly chose as we were kind of like browsing around Amazon, and show you the differences between these products and the questions that Rufus is showing us. So I'm going to share my screen. Um, and I'll just share my Chrome here. And let me know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, great. So we have these two listings, okay? Um,
Dog
the
treats
dog
for
treat, yeah,
breakfast.
actually, yeah. The way it worked out, just randomly. The first one here is sweet potato straws. The other one that we looked at, just to go here to the first image, is this Fruitables, okay? Now, if I go into this listing, okay, and I start to see, okay, first I have Rufus here, um, prompting me. So you'll see multiple spots. And I think also one thing to note is that as I'm shopping Amazon today, I'm using Rufus a little bit. I've seen my wife actually use it more than me. But I'm using Rufus a little bit. But I think it's only going to increase as Amazon puts more resources behind it. So it may not seem, like today, there's a widespread use of it, but I think the goal for Amazon is to have more widespread use and sort of getting prepared for that. So, but you can still get a lot of impact into your listing from extracting these questions. Like, are they suitable for dogs with dietary restriction? Do they contain artificial flavors? So, as I was browsing this listing, I wanted to see what are all the questions Rufus was prompting me here. One of those questions, actually, if I X this out, I'm just going to copy and paste this. But one of these questions I'd be interested to see was that was said here, and I clicked on it, was do they help promote healthy gums? When I clicked on it, Rufus came back to me with, while the product description doesn't mention anything about teeth and gums, customers generally appreciate the product. One review mentions that dogs love them and they're healthy. So essentially, Rufus is not. See, yeah, it was right here. Okay. So essentially, Rufus is not really answering the question for me. And if this brand had only gone here and looked at the questions that Rufus is trying to get customers to click and ask and and get an answer to, the brand here has, probably not done that. And as a result, if somebody clicks on this, again, they don't know, does this help their dog with healthy teeth and gums. And part of that is because where Rufus is getting their information is from the listing. They're also getting their information from the reviews. And because this particular product only has, and you could say only, but it has 305 ratings. Of those ratings, probably there's a lot less that are actually, written reviews. If we scroll, right, there's probably like only a smaller percentage are actually written reviews. We don't see the answer for this particular product. Okay. Now, if I go to this listing, this is a listing. It's selling better. It also has 20,000 reviews. Um, and when I scroll and look at the questions that Rufus is prompting me, it's also prompting me. I can ask this the same question I was asking over there. Does this product help promote healthy teeth and gums? And I asked this question. Um, you can see that the answer, while the product description doesn't mention anything about dental health, customers consistently report that their dogs love the taste and the crunchy texture helps keeps their dog's teeth clean. So because this listing has those 20,000 reviews or ratings, and a lot of written reviews, Rufus is able to extract that. But so both of these listings don't mention this very positive benefit of the product. However, this listing is benefiting from the fact that you have a lot of reviews and Rufus is extracting that. So they're lucky that they have it in a sense, but if they didn't have that in, some of the reviews, then the person asking this question would not be able to, it would say the same thing, right? Like we don't know. Customers appreciate the product or something like that. And so now what do we do with this information is now we want to make sure that we can incorporate this into the listing copy, into the listing images. And actually we also want to find out, do customers even care about this, right? We know here it's mentioned in the reviews. How many customers are talking about it? Do they care about it? That's when I can kind of bring in other tools like Intellivy, where I can actually pull customers and ask them that question. So one of the things, right? So part of my competitive research here would be going through all my competitors and looking at these questions, extracting the information. I would also want to look at the reviews, right? The things that we've done always traditionally in terms of how we build a listing is look at competitor reviews. What are customers mentioning? What do customers like about the product? What do they hate about the product that maybe my product does better, that I can turn it around and mention as a positive aspect, or a comparison chart, or whatever it is that I'm going to create into the creative content in my listing to um, to make this improvement and include more keywords and benefits of the product. Um, and we did a poll, right, on this listing or both of them,
We
both
did
of them, right?
we did pause on both of them. Mhm.
We did a poll on both of them. So when we're looking at, um, the images, we don't see, for example, anything mentioned to, healthy gums, for example, cleans the dog teeth, which seems to be customers are saying it does. We can also look at what the negative reviews say, right, and help optimize the listing. When we look at this listing and the customer images, um, we also don't see, that customers are that anything related to healthy gums, teeth, etc. So maybe we can walk through a little bit of what what we did to try to see how to optimize the listing using kind of polling methodology.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and take over. And this is the Intellivy platform for anyone who isn't familiar. So the first listing that we talked about, these sweet potato straws. I am a cat lady. I didn't know that sweet potatoes were a thing for treats. So I had all kinds of questions. And one of the most important things that Liran highlighted is we're only getting post-purchase data as well. So we're missing out on, unless you have a ton of reviews and you're capturing a lot, you could also be missing out on reasons people aren't purchasing, questions that they have that aren't being answered, that Rufus doesn't have data to be able to answer, and opportunities to answer those questions in your listing and convert people into the post-purchase world. So for this particular listing, because we don't even know what we don't know, we started with what we call a drab poll, which means dominant reasons to avoid buying, or our purchase barrier poll is what it's called inside of the platform.
You make
So,
it a little bigger,
oh,
Tamar.
absolutely. So for setup here, when you set up a poll with Intellivy, first thing first, you just give it a name. The name is just for you to recall internally. So gave the poll a name here. We're doing a Rufus AI SOP. We also, and this is unique for Intellivy, we always set a situation before we run a poll. We don't want to just show images and say, okay, A, B. I want to make sure that the people who are responding to my poll, which are real consumers, are understanding what I'm trying to extract from them and that they understand what they're looking at in case it's not obvious. So these are sweet potato dog treats. So I would start off just by putting in a keyword inside of our little AI platform here. And here, AI will give you three different versions that you can choose based on what's most relevant. I'm going to choose this one and I will change it a little bit because I'm not sure that's exactly what I want. So we worked on this ahead of time. Imagine you're online looking for a healthy snack option for your dog. You want something natural and healthy. You've heard about Lucky Premium treats, sweet potato treats, and you're curious if they might be a good fit for your dog. The question is always the same. The question that we're asking them when it is a purchase barrier poll is we want to learn about your objections. Tell me what you don't like. Who would ever think that it would be fun to hear what people don't like, but it is actually fun when you're trying to optimize your listing. So for this particular one, you have different options. You can do a Walmart simulation. We have Walmart, we have Amazon. You can just build your own card if you're, selling someplace else, you want to get insights. I'm going to do Amazon. So we're going to focus on the US. You can create your product tile manually. Let's say you haven't launched yet and you want to get an idea about why people won't like, you can go ahead and create that. But this one exists. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch the product listing using the ASIN on Amazon. Here it is. And I'm going to remove any badges, price, or reviews because I just really want the respondents focused on this main image and the title to understand immediately why they wouldn't want it or what they're thinking about. Focusing on the United States, because this is a pet brand, I certainly don't want to ask someone like myself. I want to ask someone who has dogs and knows what dogs care about. So I'm going to select dogs in the segmentation below. And as you continue down, you can see all the segmentation options that we have based on whatever product you're using. And then I always like to calculate this to make sure I'm getting statistical significance, that I'm not doing too many people than I need to do. So I'm going to do 96 and launch this poll. And because we did this ahead of time, voila, I have the beautiful poll results here. And this was very interesting. So first thing we're going to see here is AI goes ahead and takes from these 96 respondents and summarizes everything for you. These are the top 10 things people aren't sure about your products. It also gives you recommendations. Not everything is going to be relevant for you right now, but it will definitely be relevant for thinking about the future. So it might say, you know what, you should think about differentiating your product line. Well, thank you, AI. I don't really want to do that right this second. I want to optimize my listing. So I'm going to put this into my research and development spreadsheet, which everybody has when they think about building their business, I'm sure, and think about that at a future time. But we can see here people are concerned about if dogs like the taste or the texture of sweet potato. As a cat lady, that was my first question. Like, is that a thing? And like, apparently, also dog owners aren't quite sure about why sweet potatoes would be interesting. That might be something that you want to think about when you're optimizing your listing. People, obviously, you're talking about ingestibles. They're worried about ingredients, allergens, additives. This needs to be answered
You
in
know,
the
Tamar, I saw this great to interrupt you. I saw this great
yeah,
video the other day on Instagram. It was an ad, I think, for some dog product, and the brand had, um, like some kind of like, um, some kind of treat or something for the dog that they might like, and then the brand product, right? And they put both in front of the dog, and the dog went for the product they showed, right? And then they put something else dogs really like beef, and then they put their product, and the dog came for their product. And so this is something interesting you could take from this and say, how do I show people
yeah.
that the dog really loves sweet potato, right? I mean, a video, there's no better way to show than a video, right? Showing like, hey, sweet potato, dog comes, runs, loves it, eats it, right? Show maybe multiple different types of dogs, small, big, whatever, different breeds who are loving this, to really show, that it's okay. Sweet potato, naturally, okay, it can be healthy.
Mhm.
It's a vegetable, and at the same time, dogs really love it, right? And so that's a main question. You want to try to see how can you show that within your product, right? To answer that question. Which again, I think both these listings are just assuming people want sweet potato, right, for their
Yes.
dog, but you know, they're
But
not
it's not
necessarily.
necessarily, yeah, it's not necessarily obvious. I don't want to get too much into the details here,
Yeah.
just to give you a general idea, but size and shape of the treats, choking wrist. Okay, this is something else that you see. It is mentioned inside of the listing, but when I went into the raw data, there really were a lot of respondents that were bringing this up. Will my dog choke on this stick? I'm not sure this is the right thing. Sourcing of ingredients, obviously, people want things made in the USA, manufactured in the USA, sourced in the USA. Additives, again, we see the same thing. This isn't a known brand. How can I trust your brand? So all of those things that you need to do when you're first establishing yourself, you need to consider here as well. And on and on. So we see all the top 10 here. And you can also go into this is, I love geeking out in the raw data. Also inside of Intellivy, you can add tags. So I started to go through and say palatability. Do dogs want to eat it? Ingredients. My dog's fat. How do I make sure that he's not going to get fatter? These are things
Right.
people are thinking about. Choking. I saw this multiple times. So when we go back into the listing and we see there's so many opportunities here. Farm fresh sweet potato made with USA. It is answering it, but maybe there's an opportunity. I've seen this in so many polls. It's like, but it says that. But my listing says that. Sometimes it's not said clearly enough or prominently enough. Maybe it's your font, it's the design. So there's lots of things to consider when optimizing. Here we go. I see right here, easy to break into bite-sized pieces. I think that needs to be a little bit more prominent based on this initial research that we did. So here we are using Rufus AI and consumer insights together when you have a low review count. So next we have Fruitables, which again, little did I know that sweet potato, pecan flavored treats like a thing that dogs want. But it is, they have 20,000 reviews.
Yeah, and it's like 100, in BSR, 126 or so BSR in pets.
Yeah.
So
They're
really strong.
doing,
They also have the advantage that they're selling at a low price. It's vendor, so they can do that. So that's an advantage. But you know, they're selling a lot of this product.
and you see that even in the poll that I just did, the purchase pair, even though I'm like, okay, don't look at price, people still talk about price. But you know what? These are
Right.
your consumers. This is what they care
Right.
about. Still in their minds. I would like it if they're not paying for all this fresh farm to table price. I would really love
Right.
this for my dog. So with Fruitables, we had a ton. Now, for me, again,
Can you
using,
zoom in again a little bit?
sorry.
Can you zoom in again a little bit? It's a little small.
Oh, sure, of course. Here we go. Again,
Okay.
I'm not sure what matters here. Do I care about the size? Do I care about superfoods? Look at all these 8 calories per treat. I didn't know that that was something that I would care about as a dog owner, but maybe it
Right.
is. So Liran and I took a lot of our intuition and our best critical thinking skills, and he went through Rufus and identified also the teeth issue. Like, oh, this is not being answered. This is here. You
Right.
care about it. It is not being addressed in a thoughtful way.
And oral health and tooth health for dogs, I know is a very important thing to keep. It can also be, terrible if you have to extract a dog's teeth because they're rotten and you have to clean them and it's expensive and that's definitely an important thing for dog owners. And again, it's only highlighted in reviews and you can see it's important because of that, but the brand itself is not highlighting it.
Absolutely.
So we kind of wanted to see, well, what if we did? What's actually important to consumers?
Yeah. So we identified 2 additional opportunities. Well, Liran did because he's the Rufus AI master. One being the teeth issue, and the second being what can I use this for? Is this for training? Is this for fun? Like maybe give me some ideas of applications of using this treat. Like think about how I can use it with my pet. So we
Yeah,
identified 2 opportunities that weren't being addressed in the listing. And I did a different poll for this one. I don't need to know why people don't like it. There's so much data, there's so much
right.
information, 20,000 reviews. I instead want to understand how to prioritize what people care about.
And
So,
one of the things that Rufus showed us was that people liked the fact that this could be used in multiple ways. And that was from the reviews, that it could be
oh yeah,
used as a somebody said they put it in, those like Kong balls, and they put it in. It keeps their dog busy. It also keeps them sort of mentally active.
yeah.
And they did that. So it has like multiple uses. But again, that wasn't really being conveyed in the listing. So essentially, we thought, okay, let's create a couple of images, show it in front of consumers, and see what they like, right? And that's what Tamar did.
And this is also the challenge. AI is great at answering the question, but is everything getting the same weight and the same value if I only rely on interacting with this AI? And the answer is no. So for this poll, instead of doing a purchase barrier poll, we're going to do something called a ranking comparison poll. So I'm going to come down here. Very similarly, the same setup. You give your poll a name, you set the situation. So picture this, you're looking for your dog's favorite treats. And here you can just upload, instead of using a marketplace simulation by adding the ASIN and getting all the information, I really just want them to focus on these specific benefits and features. So I'm just going to upload the images. So I took existing images that were on the listing. We used our discretion in what we would include and what we wouldn't, and added some new images. So this one is for teeth right here. We added just to get an idea. It doesn't have to be perfect, although I think Liran's team did an awesome job on this. So showing the dog understanding from stinky to minty. Oh my gosh, great for my dog's teeth and their
Who doesn't
breath.
want to go from stinky to minty?
I mean, every day, that is my goal when I start my day. So we have that. Let's see. We're going to add also dogs of all sizes. We also had the one. Do I have it here? Or maybe
You had the one on the
I'll show it on
um
the results. So anyway, just
yeah.
you guys, I don't want to waste time. We built it that way. We put 6 different options. Again, we chose the US, advanced segmentation, dog owners, very important. You can also, which I think is important, if you understand the segmentation of who your shoppers are, if they're mostly women, Then you can also do gender distribution inside of Intellivy, which I think is super helpful. You can come down here to the bottom and say, I would really like this to be 50-50. Let's put it right in the middle, 100%, making sure wherever it needs to land. So let's go to our results. We're going to go ahead and jump over here. So we set up our ranking comparison poll, and here's the image that we're talking about from training ring to playtime king. Your team did a great job on these. I love this. So the results are in. First of all, people cared about the quality of the food, not a shocker based on the other poll that we did. They want to know about the superfoods and what's inside and the health benefits. But guess what also performed really well? From stinky to minty. Liran uncovered a really important care about for the customers, the soon-to-be customers, the existing customers, they care about teeth. This is something that should be addressed in the listing and probably prioritized. Here, we looked at the 8 calories, which has a prominent place right now in the listing.
Right.
Wasn't that important when ranked compared
Right.
to other benefits?
In my opinion, if you still want to call something like that out, like you mentioned on the other one, people were asking, "My dog is fat. Is this going to be?" So, right? So you can even on the image of like from stinky to minty, like maybe on the bottom you do low calorie treater, right? Like you can incorporate that into one of your other images and not have that something that's not so important, obviously, take up its own image and a lot of space, and you can incorporate some of these benefits, in one image and still not have to necessarily cut that out. But what we know is it's not that important. The fact that it's 8 calories per treat, it's just not that important, right? But again, maybe like low calorie treat somewhere. You could add that in, even on the superfoods image, right? Like you could add that in somewhere, still keep it, but now it's not that important to your shopper.
Absolutely. And just to run through what you're going to get with a ranking comparison poll, and this also uncovers the deep dive data. So it's not just a winner. I can see here how much we lose, like this is a pretty big loser. There's a lot of people that did not care at all. So you can really see the distribution of the votes with the ranking and get an even fuller picture about what people care about. And then here we go, going into each individual respondent, how they voted, how they prioritize. You can go through, you
Right.
can star and add your favorites. You can filter through the answers based on the image that they voted on, based on their gender, their age, the votes that you put as your favorite, other tags. You can go through and tag these answers.
And as I read this too, and as you read the answers, you'll uncover a lot more because what you see, like in this one here, that's 44 women looks like,
Yeah.
and it's I rank these in order of most appealing ad and the healthiest and best benefits for my pet. So people today really care about, their dog being healthy. By the way, dog being healthy because they love their dog, and your dog being healthy because your dog being not healthy is also expensive, right? For all those, I've had a dog in the past, vet bills can rack up, especially things like teeth, etc. You want your dog to be healthy. And so the superfoods, the teeth, right? And then I would start to think, well, what else can be a really great healthy benefit? How about the mental activity? Maybe I would test a picture of that, it's a good, keeps your dog mentally busy. Or if you just need to, if you're a busy mom focused on, coming home from work and you're busy with stuff and you want to keep the dog active with something, that you can kind of use this and hide it in something or whatever, right? And you want to know about those use cases. So I think from seeing this, like you really want to focus on the health benefits, and then I would go further, deeper, try to extract more. What is there anything else here, and how can I prioritize that, and how can I put that in like my second main image? Maybe even the ingredients and stuff I put in a third or fourth image because I know people go through all of it anyway,
Yeah.
and really show that benefit really fast and upfront, and then also in my A+ content, and maybe I would create a video of a dog running and eating and talk about like a person talking about how their dog loves these sweet potato and how it's healthy, right? To further enforce of why you want to buy this product. And through all this, I think we can really, increase. And by the way, we didn't even get into, you know, based on these answers and also polling like A/B testing main image, right? And all the other things that you could start doing once you start polling consumers and at the same time getting insights from competitors. And I think one of the big advantages to Rufus today is that in the past, we would comb through all the reviews. We would
Oh, yeah.
like it would you'd have to do a lot of work,
Very manual.
very manual. Today, you can go into Rufus and you can type questions, you can see the suggested questions, and you can do that product research a lot faster because the AI is doing the work for you of extracting like what's in the reviews, and you can really use that to your advantage to, um, take what's happening on other listings, see if you're answering stuff on your listing, pull, do it all together, and then test. And I think testing is maybe never even truly done, right? So at some point you're going to get more reviews, you're going to get more feedback, different things happen, and you can iterate on that to make it to make it even better. Can I add some kind of badge to my main image?
Yeah,
Maybe I can get away with it, right? um, and really use both Rufus plus consumer insights to better optimize your listing. That's really what we wanted to do here. When we started this, we're like, okay, let's just go to Amazon, let's just search products, let's just go into this category and find something. We did, and we found that listing, and I saw the thing about teeth, and I'm like, okay, let's find a product that doesn't have as many reviews and see if it holds up, right? Similar product, sweet potato, and couldn't find it anywhere. And we see these deficiencies and how you can take these insights and improve your listings. Even that listing with 20,000 reviews, right? For somebody to even find
lots of
that in the listing,
opportunity. Yeah,
it's a lost opportunity not to have it in the main image and clearly show that health benefit. Although, again, if you have 20,000 reviews, you have the luxury of having a more social proof. If you don't have that, you even more so do you really need to
gotta get it
focus
right.
on
Yeah.
having these.
I just want to highlight too, I know we're like over
Yeah.
time, but two other things that this is why I'm obsessed with Intellivy. Situation insights. So on the situation we created in the beginning, imagine this, you're shopping. You also get feedback on that. This is where I'm really getting into the voice, the mind of the customer beyond just the poll that I set up. What do you even think about the niche, about the product, about how I'm answering this issue for you? And you can find so much rich information in here about how you need to develop your business moving forward, how you should be speaking to your customers. You can even find things in here. You can build a tagline around really the infrastructure of your marketing and how you
So,
address the market.
where do these things come from? Because I saw something that says go to the store and find products that are good for immunity, or like where's that coming from based on the questions that we asked, or
Yeah, this is
in
the
the
situation that we set up in the beginning. So right here,
right? Oh, the
before
first
I
one.
show
Oh,
anything, picture this, your dog's favorite treats to run out.
wow.
They're just even telling you what I even think about what shopping scenario you're putting me in. What do I think
Right.
about that? Does it match with what I care about? What am I thinking about? And then obviously, because AI is important to help us work more efficiently, you also can get a full sentiment analysis of all of, what were the positive sentiments and the breakdown there, the mixed sentiments, the negative sentiments, to really help you also to have takeaways about what you can do with your listing. So this is the whole shebang wrapped up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great. Hope everybody really enjoyed this. I saw somebody put up their otter, which is cool. There's a link there to like a summary of a lot of what we discussed. That's pretty cool. So thank you for that. And we will be following up also with an SOP from this webinar of some of the things we did here, kind of step by step, so that you can see what we did, and then you could take this and work with this for your own products, for your own brand. And feel free to reach out to Tamar, obviously, on Intellivy. I think you're going to send out a
Yeah.
coupon code. And of course, if you want to talk about scaling your brand, you can reach out to me on social media, and you'll get an email with the follow up from us as well. And thank you for everybody for joining. We had a great interest in this webinar. If you have any topics you want to see in the future, maybe Tamara and I can team up again.
I mean, I had a
And
good time. I learned more about dog treats than I ever thought I'd ever know.
yes, exactly. Yeah, I learned a lot too. And also just again, just playing with this is, I think a great exercise for you to do with your own products. So thank you everybody for joining. And you will get the recording and an update from us as well.
Yeah, and we didn't get to do Q&A, so if anyone has
Oh,
any
yes.
questions, like quick, I hope that the
Right.
fact that there aren't any in there is a good sign that hopefully we were clear. But if anyone has any questions, we don't have any right now, please feel free to reach out. I promise we will respond and get back to you. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time. We'll send the link tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
Anjo just quickly asked, where can
Oh,
I reach out for questions? You'll get an email, but I don't know, Tamar, if you want to share your
yeah.
email, share mine. Tamar at Intellivy. Mine, for some reason I can only write to the host, but mine is maybe you can copy and paste for me. Tamar,
Let's see if
that's
I
mine.
spell it right. Oh, you know what? I was gonna spell it right. I'm so proud of
Yeah,
myself.
you can copy and paste that to everybody. You
Yeah.
can feel free to reach out to me. And again, you'll be getting an email as well.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.